Hi again. Yeah, we just had a bit of a dropout there on Tommy's end. So just log back in and hopefully we can get him back on the line. There we go. Oops, shaky. Thing. Back again.
Hey, sorry.
That's all right. You did a bit of a.
Yeah, I don't know.
Ooh. That's okay. I've got all this whole crazy setup here. So my internet's always like crystal clear, and then
Right.
everyone. So yeah, I feel
Yeah.
like everyone else is like, they'll have issues. It's worst in everyone think I've spoken to in Berlin has been really bad. Is that the
All right.
is that the thing you're wearing?
Yep.
See now, I watched that last night and I posted about it on Instagram, Tommy, and
No way.
you didn't know because you're not on Instagram. Yeah,
You miss out on.
I like watched it last night and yeah, I posted about it and then I watched the fog afterwards.
Oh,
Yeah.
great.
Because and
Yeah.
when I was rewatching it, because I did watch the remake, but that one, it's so much more gory and like
So
just so much better. I mean, Patrick,
I saw
what's his name? Not Patrick. What do you
John
call him?
Carpenter.
No, no,
John
no.
Carpenter.
The actor. You know,
Oh, Kurt.
Kurt Russell. Yeah,
Kurt-
Kurt Russell. Yeah, love that guy. And
he's so.
he's so good. And yeah, and John Carpenter. Yeah, obviously. But yeah, it's so much more gruesome. And I haven't watched it in maybe a year. And yeah, and the last one I watched was that remake, which was quite. I mean, it was good. It had like good actors in it, but it wasn't the same. Um,
uh,
it didn't have that vibe. But yeah, and then I watched it again and I was like, far out. Like the horror gore was so like gory gross back then.
mm,
Like,
mm.
like the actual like, the actual thing on your shirt, like when it comes out, it's so fucking disgusting. Yeah. With the
Nice.
two heads,
Yeah.
yeah. And
When
I
I
was
saw that for the first time when I was 7 years old,
yeah,
and I was around at my friend's house, and his older brother was watching it, and
yeah.
you know, I saw it, and it gave me like nightmares for a week.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, but
Everyone
I,
has
I,
it.
remember I actually went into my parents' bedroom, woke them up, and said, "I can't sleep. I saw this movie." And dad, dad, like had to say, "Well, listen, son. Like, they've got a set, and there's actors and a director, and
Not
they have
really.
special effects, and that's all it is." And I was like, "Oh, thanks, dad." Went to sleep. But the scene that freaked me out the most was, how the guy's head turns into a kind of spider thing.
Yeah, I actually had to look away for a second. I was like,
Yeah,
I can't believe this. Like, it's only
yeah,
been a year or something since I've seen it. But yeah, when he turns into the spider and he starts like, I was like, I I can't. And I was like,
yeah.
man, I forgot how like gory this is. Like, And then it's just like, when and all the bits when they're like busting out are like really gory. Like
Mm.
yeah,
And
and it,
got really. I remember as a kid feeling really upset that those beautiful huskies were getting
oh my God,
infected.
yeah. Yeah,
Those really beautiful
they were
dogs.
beautiful dogs, yeah, and then they got
Yeah.
it. I know. I was like, oh, there's like certain movies where you just remember exact scenes, like even like what's the I'm trying to think what it's called now, but you know that ridiculous Spaceballs. I still
Mm.
remember to this day when the thing jumps out of its chest and hello, hello, like walks down the thing. I still remember it like it was yesterday. You know what I mean? Like stupid shit like that. But like I watched yeah, when I was young I watched a lot of shit that I shouldn't have watched. And my dad like let me watch a lot of stuff like with him, but like, I'd be like, or if it was too much, I'd be like behind the couch, like pretending I wasn't there, but I was there. And like,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then I'd be like scarred, and then I'd be like, you can't go to sleep. Ugh. I remember watching the very first Nightmare on Elm Street, and all I could remember was the fingers, but also when the bed and the girls on the bed, and then it just explodes with all that blood, and
Yeah.
I was like,
That film,
oh,
that film, Nightmare on Elm Street really affected me as well as a kid because
yeah,
it's the whole concept of the monster that gets you in your dreams. You
yeah,
know that
yeah, yeah.
that's
It's like, so you
not
don't want to go
safe.
to sleep.
Can't go to sleep. Like you're not safe from it even in your own bedroom. And even if you bolted the doors and stuff, like
Yeah,
it's still
yeah,
gonna get you.
yeah.
That's
Because
such a clever concept.
it was, yeah, because it was like not like it wasn't like you were scared of something under your bed. It was like, no, no, it doesn't matter where I am. It's like, gotta stay
Yeah.
awake, gotta stay awake. And
Yeah.
yeah, that one was like one, and then I think, yeah, the other one was when I first watched the very first It movie. Because
Uh,
yeah, because my dad and I were really big on Stephen King books, and I remember the very first time I watched it, like I couldn't look in a drain ever, like for like 2 weeks. I'd hop in the shower, and I'd be like as far away from the drain as possible. And like, it was like I'd run in the bathroom and run out, like
mm,
that kind of stuff. Whereas like it's hard to come. I mean, unless you're a kid, I guess maybe now it's the same. But like it's hard now as an adult to be absolutely horrified by something. Like
yeah.
because we've kind of almost have seen it all. Like,
Mm.
so when you see
I,
something, and you're
yeah,
like,
I still can't. I still these days, like as an adult, I have a problem with I can't watch those torture porn films like
oh,
Hostel and stuff.
I can't either. Like,
Yeah.
I like the
Or
first.
the human caterpillar one. You know
Oh
that
no, I
one.
haven't watched that. Get out.
I didn't
The
watch it
human
because I know
centipede. No
it's
way.
centipede. Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
you can pay me to watch that shit. No, no, nah,
I can't.
nah. Do
I
you
can't
remember?
go there.
I just remember how horrified and scarred I was from watching The Fly. There's no way I
Right.
could. There's no way I could watch Human Centipede. Come
Yeah.
on. I was like, no. And then they did a sequel and stuff, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Oh,
How can you make it any
yeah.
more fucked up than it already is? You don't even. Yeah,
Other
no.
thing too is like like a film like Hostel. Like I'm sure that horrible shit like actually goes on, so
I
it's
know.
too
That's why it's too close. Yeah. The
close to stuff
yeah
that probably actually, which is so fucked. You know.
yeah. Like I watched. I think I watched the first Hostel, and
Me.
then I was like, whoa, and then like all of them after that just got worse and more disgust, like just too much, and I was like, yeah, I can't watch.
Mm,
This is not for me. And then
yeah.
because I love horror, but yeah, I do have my limits. And then there was like the first Saw movie was really good. Anything after that, I kind of not interested in really.
Mm.
Um, it just went too far as well. Then it started going a bit, you know, too
I
much.
might for me. I loved Evil Dead 2. Evil Dead
Yeah,
2 as a kid was one of my favorites.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I loved like all of the George R. Romero's. So like
Yeah.
Night of the Living Dead and like all
Yeah.
of those. Like, and then of course they would read, you just remember that one line where it's like, they're coming to get you, Barbara. And like it's just like you just remember it like so well. Like, and
Have you seen? I recently saw Cannibal Holocaust. Have you seen that?
not the, you mean the original? The
Original 1980,
Yeah,
1980,
no.
83 one.
I
Oh,
haven't. I've watched it once very long ago, and
understood.
I don't even know if I made it all the way through. I think it was a bit
Yeah.
like more. It's like I went and saw. I never saw the original though, so I don't know. I know how to compare it, but everyone says that the new one was way more horrible. But
Oh, there's one
the
where they actually kill animals and stuff in the film.
oh
That's so
yeah,
fucked up.
they actually do
Really
it.
fucked.
Christ,
Yeah, they
yeah.
actually do it. And there's they've used real tribes, like there's Amazon tribes in the film.
Yeah, well, that's the same as this one that it was by Eli Roth. So there's
Oh,
the original uh Green Inferno. There was an original one like sort of the same as Cannibal Holocaust, and so it's like
mm,
a plane lands, and they land, and they're stranded, and there's a tribe, and the tribe imprisons them and whatever. And
Yeah.
he did a version of it, and I really liked it because it was too true that it actually made me crap myself. Like, because it was like, if that really happened, that's what would happen. Because it was like today's society, like people had phones and, and it was like, the actual tribe was a real tribe as well. They just,
Mm-hmm.
they got them to act in it. And they had no idea what they were like half the time, what they were doing, but they just like have someone kind of saying, do this, do that. And, yeah, and it was like, yeah, it was bloody freaky. It's on, I think it's on something at the moment. It's called Green Inferno, but it's like the new one. And like, yeah, it's scary because it can happen. That's what
Mm-hmm.
that's what made it even scarier. Was like
Yeah.
fuck. There's still so many tribes out there that are still living, and also tribes that haven't been disturbed. And it's like,
Yeah.
fuck. Imagine if you did like that happened to you. These are all that. It was kind of like a comeuppance because it was like they were all rich kids who were like, going over there to be like, look at me, I'm going to help, what type thing. And then yeah, and then it all turns to shit, and it's like really freaky and like, but like he does it in a way that it's almost like gross, but like real. Like one person like actually shits themselves, and everyone's like,
Mm-hmm.
what the fuck, dude? And he's like, I can't help it. Like, and he actually shits himself, and it's like, oh my God. And it's like, imagine that. Like, and they put them in like a wooden, like a cage, and they can't get out or anything. And like, so they're all getting sick with dysentery and stuff, and like,
Right.
oh, it's just like, yeah. But definitely, it is worth it, but it's full on. And I think what was scary was because it was like, yeah, it's probably very real. And that's the same as like I mean, sort of the thing with Hostel. I still think that's like, like there's been a few films in the last couple of years that are the same. Like there was a new one that just came out called The Hunt, and it's basically the same thing. Rich people who go,
Uh,
who go off
like
onto private land, and they basically get
uh,
people abducted, like that won't get
stuff
missed.
stuff that like Prince Andrew and Jeffrey Epstein were probably doing.
Yeah, yeah. There's definitely people doing it. Like, there's got
Filthy.
to be. Like,
Yeah.
oh, and I remember I was turned off. Like, I've never been someone who would backpack, but I remember when Hostel came out, I was like, I'm never backpacking ever. Like, ever in my life. Like, I'm gonna end up in one of those warehouses, getting like, full chopped up and stuff by people watching and whatever.
Horrible.
So, ugh. But
So fucked.
oh, it's disgusting. But
Mm.
yeah, there you go. I love that you're wearing that jumper, and I just spoke about it yesterday. These are the things you miss when you're not on Instagram, Tommy.
Yeah,
What
no,
am I
no,
gonna say?
I'm not a social media guy.
I
Like
know, but
I do.
we could have had a
Yeah,
conversation about this. You know what I mean?
true. We are now.
Yeah, well, we're doing it now, so it's sort of like, And Tremors. I was gonna say Tremors. I'll always remember
Tremor.
Tremors was the one with Kevin Bacon. And they come
Uh,
underground, and they're like
I
those
don't think I've
big.
seen.
Oh my God, you must. It is like,
Okay, yeah, maybe. Yeah.
yeah, you have to watch it. It's like
Okay.
gold. It's like because
Yeah. Cool.
it's the old school effects and animatronics. So you got to watch it.
Hmm.
It's just too good. Like,
Yeah, I'll check it
yeah,
out.
yeah. The first one. The rest are like just stupid, but the first one was like the shit. I still watch it now every now and again. Um, and that kind of thing. But anyway, back circling back. Um, so what can like fans and I guess non-fans expect from the new album from Reptilian Overlord?
Overlord. It's just what can I say? It's just another like rock and roll Casanovas rock and roll record, with good tunes and like it's not like we've gone off in some different direction or
You're
anything, you
you're
know what I
writing
mean?
you're writing like sci-fi rock and
Yeah. It's not
getting political.
it's just an evolution of the Casanovas,
Yeah, yeah.
you know. sound.
I imagine
Yeah,
it's
but it's a rocking record. Yeah, I'm really happy with the record.
yeah. I'm sure it's like just I mean all of your stuff is always just really fun. So, you know, I guess it's
Mm.
gonna be I expect it'll be same vein. But do you feel like
Yeah, yeah.
over the years you've like kind of honed it together more?
Oh
Like
yeah,
that
like I think
like a lot
band is
tighter and
yeah, yeah. I mean, like I said, when we started, we would have been pretty sloppy, you know. But then I think by like the mid 2000s, I reckon we became a legitimately really good
yeah.
band, you know, like a really, really excellent band, you know. And then since then, you know, I just feel like we've got better and better, um, and I think that the sound is more mature and, you know, just reflects getting older and better, you know.
Yeah.
Like we
And
did
that
a live stream gig.
yes, I
We did a live
saw
stream.
this was Cherry
Yeah,
Bar, right?
yeah, yeah. And you know, like, cause I'd never really seen us live,
Oh, so you went back and watched it?
so I went back and watched it, you know, and yeah, I was thinking like,
It's
what? I
really
wasn't
weird
sure,
to watch yourself on anything.
so, but I, but I was impressed. I thought we sounded really good.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
Did
yeah.
like did you dissect yourself like, like oh God, what is that move? Or like anything or are you just
Oh,
like
no,
nah.
the moves were fine. It was more just some some little bits of playing. I was critical of myself, like
Yeah, yeah.
because I think because like whenever we do shows, like if we do like a tour, you
Yeah.
know, the first the first show's okay, the second show's a bit better, and the third show onwards you're really smoking.
Yeah, yeah.
But that was just a one-off show,
One.
first show in like 6 months.
Yeah, yeah.
So it kind
So
of
you kind of like
got me stiff. Like didn't really have as fluid a kind of
mm.
as attack as
And
I
was
normally.
there wasn't many people actually at the thing, was there?
Oh no, just the people that run the venue, like
That's what I
six
mean. So
people or something.
that's even weirder. Like, because you
But
can't,
so weird.
because you can't like
There's
get
no, yeah,
like
yeah,
you're already having trouble. Like it's the first show, so you're having trouble getting the vibe. But then there's like
yeah,
no one watching, like
yeah,
to
yeah, yeah.
actually to get the energy from or like feedback from.
Absolutely. That's really because you get a lot of you get so much from a live audience. Like we got some mobile phone footage of shows in Europe,
Hmm.
like in Paris and stuff in 2017, and the vibe is fantastic. You know, like
Yeah,
there's such good feedback loop going on. You
yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah.
between you and the and yeah, like you said, at that kind of a show, it lacks that. But still, just musically, like I felt like the band was playing well and sounded good.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah,
Well, not
because it's
surprised,
a
but
weird. It is a weird.
pleasantly relieved.
Yeah,
Relieved more probably the word I'm
yeah.
looking for. Yeah,
Because it's a weird thing. Like, yeah, I mean, and lots of people are doing it at the moment, like live streaming, playing live to an empty room.
yeah,
There's like three people there or something, and and you got to kind of pretend that
yeah,
everyone's there that's out there watching is there.
yeah,
It's like quite hard
yeah.
to capture,
It's
especially with rock and roll, I guess, because rock and roll is one of those things where you really feed off everybody involved. So,
absolutely. Yeah, yeah. No, we definitely do. Yeah,
you almost needed
but
like TV of like ah! in the crowd, some kind of
definitely.
fake thing going on.
There were like about 6 people there, and they would clap in between, and
Oh,
even just those, like it
yeah,
made a difference.
difference, yeah,
Was good.
compared
Like
to just
but
dead empty.
honestly, though, in terms of that, like it doesn't really matter because once you're playing, um, with when you're an experienced band, when you've played a lot of shows and you've played a lot of shows to nobody, you get used
Yeah,
to putting on a show to whoever's there, even if it's only 2 people. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah,
I remember like gigs, tours where you turn up to some town, some little town, and there was no promotion or anything, and it was like Spinal Tap. You'd literally play to 4 people,
yeah,
and a big big room, and but we used to put on just as big a show for those four people as we did for a packed
A
room,
packed room, yeah.
And so by the end of the show, though, those four people were like on the stage, like, just going ballistic and I
Yeah.
mean, so yeah, you got to give
But
them value for money.
yeah, yeah. So it goes both ways. But yeah, I was wondering like how weird that must have been, like doing that whole thing. I mean, now you can do. They're doing shows and dinner, I think, aren't they? So there's more people, like
Yeah,
20 and something
like,
people.
yeah, we'll have to go play at Dracula's theatre restaurant. I
Are they open?
don't know.
I don't
I'm
think
just joking.
that would be amazing. I don't think I've ever been there. I've always been tempted, but like,
Right.
I reckon the food would be so disgusting that you would vomit.
So bad. Or Witches in Breeches.
Yes. Oh
Yeah.
no,
Or
no.
Hunchbacks.
Oh yeah,
Hunchbacks.
hunchbacks. Yeah.
Used-
Oh my God. Well, you could just about play anywhere. Like I was saying, like you can do like studios and stuff as well. Like like I was saying to a friend, like you just go to Bakehouse Studios or something and set up and do a thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
For sure.
I
Yeah.
feel like that's kind of what people are going to end up doing the next couple of months if they can't
Yeah.
play.
It's forced them to get creative in the way they put the music out there. I think we in fact I do mean to contact James at Cherry about doing a dinner and a show there
Yeah,
at Cherry. But
I'm sure he'd be down with it. Because like
yeah,
some of the bands that have played so far, I mean, they're not really my jam, but like they're the older crowd's jam. You know what I mean?
mm,
Um,
mm,
but like as it kind of progresses, if everyone in Melbourne like starts behaving a little bit better, we might finally get a bit more than 20 people, and then it might, you
yeah,
know, be a bit better, and it might not be so expensive. You know what I mean?
mm,
As well, like, but yeah, it's such a strange time. But everybody's learning. Like, at least you can play all like this. You can play enough that you can play different instruments, and you can like put demos together and stuff. Whereas a lot
yeah,
of a
yeah.
lot of people are just like working on their bit and then sending it off, and you know, and
Okay.
like lots of people have said they've started like like really learning now how to like record and stuff properly at home because
Yeah,
they've got all this time, so they're like
yeah,
actually able to focus on it and stuff. Um, Whereas before they just never had the time to. Um, and I was gonna say, like, because when you had that huge hiatus, that was because you were getting that architecture thing, and you never did anything with that, did you? In the end?
yeah. So I got an architect. I was playing because we did Casanovas stuff, and then the Casanovas had some problems with a manager that we had at the time. We even went like had a court
Oh no.
date. Oh, it was horrible, horrible time. But
Yeah,
that really took me out of the band's sales.
yeah.
And
It kind of
also like
takes the passion out for a little bit when you go through that
yeah,
sort of stuff.
also um, just things weren't going well with Triple J and the radio. They wouldn't play us anymore. And
Mm.
so it was just really frustrating because we had a kind of upward trajectory, and then all of a sudden they just didn't really want to play us anymore. So we were kind of like, oh, what are we gonna fucking do? So, and then started playing guitar for Jimmy Barnes,
Barnsey.
like on the Barnesy. Yeah, I did that for a couple of years, and then after that kind of I finished my degree and went and worked for a big firm, as an architect, graduate
Mhm.
architect, and
Yeah.
um, like I did a couple of years, but it just wasn't for me. Just being in an office.
You're a rock and roller, mate. You're not an architect.
I, yeah, it's kind of true. I love architecture,
Yeah, yeah.
but the reality of
The reality of being
what I was
involved in it is so different, isn't it?
totally different. Yeah, and it's one of the most stressful and demanding occupations you could imagine.
And
It's
very corporate most of the time.
yeah, 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 and it's a lot of work, and to be honest, it doesn't pay well proportionately, you know,
Yeah,
like it's,
yeah, yeah.
you know, everyone's really stressed and I don't know. I mean, there are people out there that I studied with that now have their own practices and they do fantastic stuff, you know.
Mm,
And I kind of sometimes have a moment of like, I wonder if I had have done that, you know, if I could have,
yeah,
you know. But it's just not really for me, you know.
yeah. It's not your vibe. Um,
Mm.
but yeah, sometimes you have to do that stuff like just to find out that it's not your thing. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like,
yeah. Fuck, I studied so long. It took me 14 years to finish the degree.
and then you were like, nah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I took a lot of like I when I started in
Because you would have been
1994.
touring and taking time off. Yeah.
Yeah, but the year I started, I was a I just used to smoke bongs and I failed every subject, every
Yep.
single subject. And they somehow they let me repeat, and I just scraped through first year, and then in second year I started to actually apply myself, and it started to do well, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, like the band was once the band formed, the band was touring. I had to keep deferring, and it
Mm,
like lost momentum, you know.
yeah, yeah. And
Also, one of my best friends that I studied with, and that I was the guy that I used to bounce off, you know,
yeah.
creatively, um, like died.
Mm. So
Yeah, it was really really sad.
so that kind of bring it down as well. If that's that
Yeah, it's
you,
an
if,
association that made. I know it's a bad association I have with it, kind of now. Yeah,
yeah. So was it more
yeah.
like the architect? Was it more architecture on the outside or like inside, or the whole thing that you like that you were
The
into?
whole thing, but the way I was never a good architect. I used to just like in in studio, I'd make these cool looking models, were more like sculptures,
Yeah.
and then I'd just fit a building into that. It wasn't.
Yeah.
It's more, you know, it's like completely impractical.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
like some lecturers really, really loved what I did, and some of them were just like, "There's no way that's gonna work," you know, like
Yeah. Yeah.
it's ridiculous.
You're
So,
making like you like basically yeah. It defies like all like measurements and all that kind of stuff. It's just not going to
yeah,
work.
and yeah, yeah, they didn't. My buildings wouldn't have worked. Yeah.
I would have loved it if you had something, if there was something that you actually worked on and you could go and see it, and it's just like
Oh,
dead.
there are actually like I remember doing there's there's not much, but yeah, in RMIT there was I did a furniture design
Yeah.
elective, and then they chose my design to get built, and I built it there, and it's in the building there in Building 8.
Oh, cool.
This cool sort of bench seat thing that I made,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
that's the legacy of all my years of study.
You should go back and like be like put like a plaque on it, like
Oh no no sorry, I should say I was part of the team that did the Royal Children's Hospital, the one that's there
ah,
now
yeah, yeah,
in Fleming. Yeah
yeah,
yeah yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I drew that facade over and over and
And it
over again
hasn't
in
fallen down.
hasn't fallen down. Yeah, and it looks pretty cool. Like it looks pretty
Yeah,
cool, but I had zero creative input into
yeah.
that.
You
That
were
was
just
just I
doing
was
the
CAD monkey.
yeah, doing the hard yards. Um,
Doing the
yeah,
stuff, yeah.
you should just get like a little what do you call it? Like a little plaque made, like
Yeah.
Tommy from the Casanovas or whatever, and then just like go into RMIT when everything's open again, and have like a thing on the back of it, and just
Yeah.
put it on the
Just stick
chair
it up.
permanently.
People
Get like a
will be
whole
like,
bunch of glue, put that on
who does this
there.
guy think? Yeah.
Because like
Yeah.
that's almost they could take that, they could pick it up and like put your thing on it, pick it up, take it, and I don't know, put it in the Australian Music Vault or something. Sit on Tommy's couch bench thing.
I don't know. Maybe if the next record's a big hit, then it might be worthy, but otherwise, no.
Not too much.
Yeah.
um, yeah. So what do you like? I mean, I guess for you guys it's more about the fun, but like, is there pressure for you? Like, do you feel like there's
Like
pressure to be like, okay,
whenever,
we need to make this record needs to do well, or
when oh no 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 we're really lucky to have a great record company in
hmm
Rubber Records that's been stuck by us the whole way,
hmm
and obviously they want it to do well and make some money back for themselves,
yeah,
but but they've been fantastic. Like David Vodka's been great in terms of not pressuring us and giving us the freedom we need. And um, so I consider myself really, really lucky that we've got backing now because it'd be pretty hard at this age to kind of be, if you didn't have that
yeah,
to to get,
someone behind
to pull money together and all that sort of stuff would be really, really hard to do. So I'm really, really grateful for that. And then in terms of um, like even though you say well, it's fun, like it is fun, but I still take it really seriously as well. You know what I mean? Like
you. Yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah, of course. Yeah,
I don't mean I take us serious, like I take
yeah, yeah.
ourselves seriously,
You
but
take it seriously, like, yeah,
I take the art of making music and playing it really seriously. It's
yeah,
even if the lyrics are sometimes tongue in cheek and stuff, it doesn't mean
yeah,
that the music's not. There's a lot of passion there.
yeah, of course. I mean, it's
Yeah.
not like, you can't, it's not an easy thing to get up and in front of people and play and all that kind of thing. And especially, it comes through if you don't give a shit. People
Yeah,
can
yeah,
tell, people
definitely.
can, people can tell that you don't give a shit.
Yeah,
And
we mean
then,
definitely mean it. Yeah.
yeah, so you can kind of, you get that vibe. But I mean, I guess you're lucky this time around because the whole thing with radio has kind of gone down the toilet in a way. Like radio is not as important as it used to be. Like, you know, I mean, I guess when like you were saying Triple J, weren't playing you, um,
Mm.
that would have been the period when they weren't playing anybody good. When
That's
they
true.
when they just went and they stopped being
Yeah,
Triple J. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I,
yeah,
I remember everyone used to, no matter where you were or whatever, people would race home or, if you'd come home from uni or come home from school, whatever, and you put on Triple J and there would always be song after song that you liked and you knew.
mm,
And then there was that period where it just became like not that there's anything wrong with that music, but it just became more mainstream and more like hip hop and like and all that alternative stuff that used to be all it
yeah,
played was suddenly reduced to like I don't know, a 3 hour show on one night.
yeah.
and and so it just became a mainstream like radio station and there was nothing great about it anymore. And I guess
Mm,
I never looked to Triple J then when that happened, sort of thing, to any music because I'd be like it's just shit. And then obviously you should everybody saw with the year after year the Triple J Hottest 100 just got dreadful and dreadful and dreadful and dreadful.
yeah.
And it was
Oh, look,
like it was a
a while
real,
ago.
and that's when you knew that was when it became really apparent that they completely 360'd on the idea of the station, I guess. And now
Yeah,
it's really just like Triple R that are still like powering on like with
yeah,
alternative
yeah,
stuff. Like
yeah,
everyone else is just trying to compete with with all these the new triple M's and all Novas and all
yeah,
that crap. And like
yeah.
and most of that's all paid plays, which I'd love to a lot of people don't realize, like it's all rigged and that's what made Triple J a good radio station. It was like you could be like, have you heard this? It's fucking badass. And then the person would listen
Yeah,
to it and then they play it. And similar
yeah.
to Triple R, but like yeah, all of those bigger ones, it's like people play, pay to have their music played. Like,
Oh, there's a lot of.
you
There's no
know,
doubt about that.
and
Yeah,
I kind of feel weird about that. Like, if I was in a band, I would be like, I want it to be played because it's good. I don't want it to be played
and it's like,
because some dick like management person is paying this, paying like that idiot football guy, whatever his name is, that drives me mental. What's his name? Maguire, Eddie Maguire. I don't want Eddie Maguire
yeah.
playing my songs. You know what I mean? Like, and you'd
I
be
think
like,
James Hound Dog took our song in and played it on their breakfast show,
Yeah, yeah.
and Maguire was like, "Geez, that's a good song. Like I thought good rock and roll didn't exist anymore. That's great." Like
Well, there you go.
he was like,
That was good. Yeah, because he's like up. I've heard a lot of stories about it. He's very up and down. Um, and he can be very like not open, I guess, to other
mm,
people's suggestions. Like, I remember talking with Jan Gazzo, and she was saying when she, when she used to work back there, she used to have to get all of her what she was going to play. She had to get it approved before she was allowed to play it, and they would be like, "Nah, nah." Like, and she was just like, I couldn't believe it. Like, there's no freedom there. Like, it was very,
yeah,
and I guess it's a lot like that now because it's all just riding on money and like endorsements and blah blah blah. But
mm,
now, like, especially, I mean, I guess COVID has just amplified it even more. Now it's just like people are doing everything themselves, like,
mm,
and instead of like they're just bypassing all that crap and going straight to the people. Like, and they've
yeah,
got, if they've got band camps and, and they're
mm,
doing the live streams on YouTube and all that kind of stuff and Facebook Live and, and all that kind of stuff. And you can sell records straight from Facebook now and all that kind of
yeah,
jazz. So you almost don't need all of that stuff anymore because radio just does, I mean, I don't even listen to radio. I don't even know how many people do. It's really just like people, I mean, in the car when I'm driving, like even when I would drive to work, I wouldn't listen to the radio. I'd have Spotify
really,
on.
yeah,
I'd have Spotify on
yeah,
and just like, I'd pick a thing, pick a genre or whatever I wanted and put it on shuffle. Or I'd be like, I'm going to listen to this band, blah, or whatever. You know what I mean? But I would never turn the radio on because I don't give a shit. I don't want to hear blah and blah talking about shit and then playing
mm, mm,
one song every 15 minutes. And usually the
yeah,
song
yeah,
is something I don't want to hear, so it's like,
yeah,
oh, like, I think the only channel that I ever, like, when I worked in like an office that was ever sort of allowed was I'd be like, all right, Gold FM, that's it. That's all that's allowed. Because you're
yeah,
going to know songs off that. You know what I mean?
mm,
And it'd just be
mm,
like banger after banger of like songs that everyone no matter who you were, everyone in the office knew it. And you
yeah,
could
for
you
sure,
you could all enjoy it and have a sing along, you know what I mean? Because it's like everyone
yeah,
everyone knows old Bon Jovi or like, you know, and
mm,
there'd be always Gunners and all that sort of stuff. So it was always that kind of thing. But yeah, I think radio's lost a lot of its power, and I think it'll be
mm, mm,
interesting to see what happens after COVID as well, because now there's no touring,
mm,
so there's no endorsements and there's no like big shows, like use radio
mm,
stations and stuff for promotion and like all this other stuff. And none of that's happening now. So it's like,
yeah,
it's going to be really different when everything opens up again because they're not
yeah,
going to be able to rely on, I guess, you know, international stuff's not going to happen until probably August next year. So, you know, all those like promoters and radio stations and all that sort of stuff who have kind of given the finger to local music for a bit are going to start to feel
yeah,
the pinch when they have to start like getting local bands back again
for
because
sure,
some people are going to be like, no, I don't want to play for you, man. You weren't interested in us before,
mm,
like, some of the bigger promoters will be like, here's $100, or actually, we think you should just play for free
mm,
for
mm,
an entire tour and fly there yourself.
yeah,
What? Like, you know what I
yeah,
mean? That kind of stuff. And that's going to work against them now because, until late next year, it's going to be all about the Australian music scene.
yeah,
And so, those people who like made bad relationships with, local bands are really going to suffer more because they haven't got
mm,
that, you know, thing with working with local bands and stuff. So yeah,
yeah,
it'll be, and also seeing how many venues we still have when we kind of come
yeah,
through it. That'll
pretty
be,
scary,
yeah, because there's a lot of like there's a lot that seem like they're hanging on, but like it just depends how long we're hanging on for, like because that's the thing. Like I think like but there's that whole Save Our Scene thing that's going on, and they're trying to get stuff
yeah,
signed off
Yeah.
by government and whatever. But we seem to like music seems to be the last thing like one of the last things they're interested in looking at.
Mm,
You know,
mm.
doesn't seem as like they seem to be underestimating how important it is to Melbourne, even just the arts in
Yeah.
general. Like,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's crazy time. Um, so while you're sort of like stuck in this hub, you're working on stuff that will be then the next record. Um,
Right.
do you have a projection like of when you think that will be like 2021 or 2022 or
No, it's always way further away than I hope it would be,
yeah.
you know? Like if I
so
had
so
my
maybe
choice,
5 years, 10 years.
yeah, if I had my choice, I would record in about 2 months,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And then out
Excuse me.
next year, like at the start of
Yeah,
next year,
yeah, yeah.
but it happened, you know? It
Yeah, no.
just doesn't, yeah, that way.
Yeah. It's hard and then like I mean and if you did that then you'd have two albums to tour on top of each other
Yeah, exactly.
as
Exactly.
well, which is
Yeah.
actually happening like to quite a lot of people
Mm.
already. They're
Yeah.
like,
Well, it's also like, because this would, one of the reasons why I'm really keen to do it is because we've got a new lineup now, and I really want
and it's kind
to.
of the new lineup is like now solid and like set in, isn't it?
It's super. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And so I really would love to put a record out, recorded with the band as it is, and
Yeah,
I think it'd be really, really good. Um, but yeah, it's just got to be patient. It'll
yeah.
come around. Yeah,
It's crazy time. Just but
yeah,
I think for everyone to try and figure out how to navigate it. But um,
yeah.
yeah, at least you've got the time to like write songs and do all that kind of stuff and like
Oh, yeah,
you know.
yeah.
And do you have to work? Are you working or are you just at home chilling?
Yeah, my work's been reduced a lot,
Yeah,
but I'm getting some government support as
yeah,
well.
yeah. Pretty much. I think everyone is. We're
Yeah,
all like
Uh,
on it. So yeah,
no,
it's like
yeah.
it's not.
I'd rather be working though.
Oh, 100%. Like, I
Yeah,
mean,
like
that's why I'm doing these things and stuff because it's like,
yeah,
otherwise I would go insane from boredom,
yeah,
like trying to,
yeah,
like, just constantly keeping myself busy, doing different things,
yeah.
like, in the interim because, you know, a lot of stuff's just dead and it's not going to be
Mm,
coming back for a while, like a long time. So, Um, yeah, I've like so like pretty much 90% of my music friends are all jobless now. Like
mm.
who worked in like, for promoters or agents or
Yeah,
booking or anything. So yeah,
unbelievable.
and now it's sort of like they're gonna have like majority of those people will have to change careers now because
Yeah,
the
that
the li
sucks.
the likelihood is that, like I said, there won't be any need for any more people until at least August, September next year. So they're gonna have to switch careers. There's no way around it. So, you
That's
know,
terrible. Yeah, I feel like I guess it's a controversial opinion, but I feel like the Swedish way was is the best. You make up your own mind about what you're gonna do.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
The vulnerable and the elderly isolate and protect themselves.
yeah.
But everyone else just respectfully carefully going about their business.
Business, yeah. Well, I
That's my
mean,
personal
the
opinion, but
opinion, yeah.
everyone's gonna.
Got that. Yeah, I mean, comparatively to everyone else, I mean, we're not that bad. I mean, America's got
No,
like 30 to 40,000 cases,
yeah, yeah,
overnight, and we had 73. So like, and people are talking about us being the pariahs of Australia and stuff, and it's like, well, yeah, it's rising and shit, and it's only because of certain areas and stuff have just been going about things the wrong way. But yeah, it's sort of, it's difficult, I think, in a culture as well, like ours, where we just want to, like, so many bogans and people who just want to piss on and like, you know what I mean? It's like It's like you can stay home and do that. Like, you don't have to go out and do it, but it's the cult,
Yeah,
and it's the same as in the UK. Like, it's the culture is to go out and drink. And so,
for sure.
so many people have just been like, when that first restriction was lifted, everyone just went mental, like
Yeah,
chomping at the bit to get out there, and then
yeah,
bang, like it's like, uh-oh, yeah, everyone was just
yeah,
too keen, and yeah, it was crazy. But
yeah.
yeah, I was gonna say, is there anyone like that you've been listening, like that you've listened to, or like at the moment that's new, or are you just still, are you more into listening to the older stuff than you are seeing what's happening now?
Yeah, I have to admit that I listen a lot more to old stuff.
No, lots of people do. Most people do when I ask that
Yeah,
question. So
like
it's like,
I get excited and I'm always hearing stuff that I hadn't heard before, and thanks to YouTube, there's just an infinite supply of
of stuff.
amazing
Yeah. And
old footage of stuff,
yeah,
that's gold that you've never seen, and
yeah. I think, and I was saying this the other day to a friend. YouTube is like this weird man thing. Like, I've spoken to so many dudes, and they're all like, "Oh yeah, I'm just to go on YouTube," and I'm like, "What do you do on YouTube? Like, I don't understand." And they're like, "Oh, I watch this and I watch that," and it's like it's such a dude thing because chicks don't just go,
you
"Oh,
reckon?
yeah," chicks don't go, "Oh, I'm just gonna go on YouTube and like look this up and that up and da da da." Like, I'll go there with a specifics purpose. Like, someone will
Yeah,
send me a link or something, or I'll be like, "Oh, what was that
yeah.
bloody song? Oh, I'll look it up." Whereas guys tend to just go into these giant fucking rabbit holes. Oh my God, here's
Oh,
Alan has just come in, so let's give him a rip.
oh, cool.
Alan, I know you're there. If you remember, um, but this is Tommy from Casanovas, and you met him at South by Southwest in Austin, and you had chicken pox.
No, he had it.
Oh, you'd had chicken pox, and you
He just
shook
had just got over it.
just got over it, and
I think so.
yeah, and you shook hands with Tommy, and guess what? You gave him the chicken pox, you bastard.
It's not verifiable, but it's likely the case. I don't know, but I got it about a week later. So,
Oh, yeah,
so
because I think the symptoms probably lay dormant,
yeah,
like
there'd
I'd
be. I think the
say.
incubation period's probably about a week or so. I felt the
Yeah,
initial
yeah,
symptoms I had were just I was feeling really, really tired,
yeah.
and then I remember playing a show in Boston, and I fell off the stage, like just into the crowd, and
Did you
I took
pretend?
the fall back.
Did you pretend that you were like it was a part of the show? No.
No, no, I was just like, what the fuck's going on? Like I had no energy, but when those things they're really insidious, you don't really notice,
Yeah.
you know, you're getting really bad, and I remember like I wouldn't wake up on the tour bus until like 4 in the afternoon.
Oh God.
Just had to keep sleeping and sleeping, and then I didn't know what was wrong with me
But then what
until
were
I
you?
saw
But did you have the
the
itch?
lesions.
But were you itchy yet?
Not until like we got to New York.
Oh God. Because all I remember about chickenpox is those pine tassel baths. They smell bad and they're like orange, and
Oh, I
you
didn't have
don't
any of
have.
that.
When you're a kid, you have to sit in it. It's
Yeah,
just so bad and it just stinks to high heaven. And it's like this
yeah.
bright orange, and you just sit there in it, and
Right.
it's like supposed to soothe or whatever. And you just, yeah, it's horrible. It's like being an alien. But yes, I will.
Fair enough. I've got to bust them over. I've got to get up early tomorrow.
Yep, like a true rock star.
Pretty rough day, yeah. But so sorry to have to. But
No,
yeah,
no, they're all
it's been.
good. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. And yeah, we look forward, I guess, to is there going to be one more single before the album, or
Yeah. But there's Red Hot now, and then there's going to be one more single that comes out with the release of the record as well.
okay, awesome. So yeah, so
Yeah,
August 28th. Yeah,
that's it.
Reptilian Overlord. I've got
The one.
it.
Yeah,
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for coming on and having a chat. And yeah, I will make sure
my pleasure.
that
No,
I give Alan some shit. Yeah. And hopefully, yeah, we get to see you play soon or yeah, whatever.
yeah,
Or maybe we need to organize an old horror movie thing, I think. Now that I know
sounds
that you're a horror movie nerd, you got the jumper.
yeah,
I'm impressed. So yeah, maybe that's something we need to do.
for sure. It sounds cool.
Alrighty. Awesome.
Yeah. Bye. Thanks so much, Renee.
Bye. No worries. Catch ya.
See ya.